I smell a lot of oak and or like musk.
It's musty. It's musty.
Yeah.
That's a earthy, musty nose to it.
Kind of like a sassafras.
Yeah, come on.
Hello and welcome everyone to episode 138 of the Mashup, the best bourbon conversation you are going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Anthony, Kenny, and Steven. Hello, Anthony and Kenny.
Hello, Steven and Anthony.
Hello, gentlemen. I mean, you've tried to get me to laugh, but I'm getting
failed.
there. I'll get there. No, I'll get there. Feel a little mellow tonight.
I was going to say, I don't know if I'm going to make you laugh too much. Been on the road a lot. You're kind of wore out.
No, I'm just returning back from Nashville again. And what's super exciting to me is the fact that we are here recording on what is close to our 3-year anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, we started this podcast, was it January?
It started in talks in 2020.
Right.
And took a little bit to get off the floor.
Right. So it was what? It was
early January of 21.
21, yeah.
Episode 1.
Wow. Episode 1, Sazerac Rye.
That's right.
Kenny, have you listened to that episode?
You have to scroll way far back.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, man. I went back and started listening I listened to the first 7 or 8.
Okay.
And it was kind of rough, guys, but it was.
You're starting something, you can't wait until it's perfect. You just got to go with it.
I know,
and learn as you go.
But it was still cool. I liked it.
Yeah.
I listened to, and they had the one episode that I guess posted because there was bad weather, so there was no episode or something.
Oh yeah, I used to do those,
weather update.
And then
weather update episode.
I listened to the first 8 or 9, I think. So I did go back and listen though.
Well, thank you for doing that. And I think we were so cocky, we thought to ourselves, and I'm laughing. I'm looking at Steve when I said that because we were anything but cocky. We were thinking like, what if we miss a Friday?
People are going to think we're going to be gone.
Yeah, we're gone. Like they're like gone to the ether. So we, Steven had the idea to do those updates. And then also when you guys were on vacation, I love the Michael and you episode where you guys are chugging down cheap scotch.
Like early in the morning.
That's one of my favorites. They were chugging down cheap scotch, and where were you guys at?
Mexico?
Somewhere, yeah.
I don't remember.
You don't remember where you were at? No, I'm just kidding. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Honestly, reflecting back on doing this for 3 years and knowing that we've done it mostly just with ourselves and our whiskey collections and bringing you guys this honest feedback that we like to provide on whiskeys. It's meant a lot. It's been a lot of fun. I am still massively tickled when I see people contact us on social media.
I am too.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't know how that is. After all this time, it's funny. I still have all the notifications on Instagram to notify me when things happen.
Right.
And I still get them.
Yeah, still get them, still interact. We love hearing from y'all. And it's been interesting because we've gone through different lineups and everything else, but it's been a lot of fun. And Kenny, we're happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here, man. Fun, good stuff.
What's your reflection? Do you have any reflections for the 3-year anniversary here?
Well, honestly, I've talked a little bit about my bourbon journey. It's shorter, but I went from like 0 to 100 like real quick.
Right,
real quick.
Premium, like high end premium stuff and Dusties and all that.
He built a Dusty collection in 4 days.
Well, so one thing though that I did by going back and listening to the older episodes, it's made me truly still. We need to review less expensive bottles also, and we need to refine the bottle that is that $30 to $70 bottle that literally smacks and hangs with some of these $250, $300 bottles. Yeah. That way the average person can truly obtain it and get it, But like 2 of the things I get most excited about are just literally the hanging out, the laughing, the talking. We belly laugh, man, cramps in the side, just fun stuff. And the second thing is finding that inexpensive bourbon. Yeah. That freaking smacks the big boys. Like that Rittenhouse Rye Liquor Barn pick from last year.
Yep.
$35. And it was hanging blind with $150, $200 rye, stuff like that. So there's one thing going back and listening to the older episodes that I do. It helps. I got to think, hey, let's keep on the middle of the road track, less expensive track every now and then to try to find that special one.
Right.
And I really appreciate that addition you've added to this thing.
Oh, thank you.
Our show, like, we do look for those inexpensive bottles that are really good for everyone, but then to have your skills of tasting and to be able to say, oh, this bottle compared to this bottle that costs 10 times as much, they're very close. And that gives everyone out there a chance to almost have that expensive bottle, but they can buy it at the shelf.
And it's wild. Pretty cool in the past try or buy thing when you start thinking about retail versus secondary, you know, because it's like, man, there's a huge difference on what you'd actually open, you know, sometimes on those things.
Right. And when I'm reflecting back to, the one thing I want to say is Steven and I had so many discussions at the beginning. There were so many times we go back and forth about bottles, man, you know.
Yeah.
You're like,
we want, in the beginning, we want to make sure we had enough of the different distilleries represented.
Yeah.
We want to make sure they weren't too close, you know, episodes weren't too close together, back to back with similar distillery releases.
Yeah, and it was fun because we were like, you know, looking through our own whiskey collections, and of course, everyone has a different size collection, different variety of their collection, and we kept thinking like, what do we think people want? And I think really what people want is they just want honest opinions, to tell you the truth. And once we sort of found that out and we got a little bit more comfortable, bought some better equipment, you know, those kind of things, I think that things really kind of took off. But I would be remiss if I didn't just say that along the way here, getting to, what is this, episode 138, 3 years later, we've had, you know, not to get all sentimental here, but, you know, Steven and I, you know, we've done a lot of it. Michael was a big part of it at the beginning, and we still hope to have him on from time to time. We had him in episode 100, right? Mm-hmm. Kenny now being with us. We had Mossick for a little bit. We've had Caleb as a co-host on some episodes. We have other people dropping in. It's been a lot of fun. It's almost been like a way to showcase the community around here that we have and how we like to hang with each other, like Kenny just said a second ago, that fun that we have, laughing and everything, and being able to capture that and bring that to you guys on not always a weekly basis, but trying to do it every week. It's just been like it's been a great joy, and I think it happened at the right time too, because if you're out there and you're listening and you're thinking about what whiskey means to you, we hope that it means more than just the bottles that you have on the shelf that you get to look at, that you get to share them with some good people like we do week in and week out, and be able to bring that to you. So we hope you're doing that as well. Yeah,
definitely. And then the part you hit on earlier that is huge is that we basically supply our own bottles.
Right.
We're not paid. We're not bought.
We'd like to be at times. Don't let you know.
Don't get me wrong. And the reason I say that is how many YouTubers, websites, other podcasts, it's like some of the stuff that they say is great. It's just, I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
We're just trying to get a sample over here.
I mean, so might be why we don't get samples.
Yeah, maybe
we're too honest about stuff.
I mean, I'd go for a PTAC flight, you know?
Yeah, you know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Can we get on a PTAC list next year?
We really do just try to bring honest opinions. And everyone's palate's different. So just because I say something's bad versus good or good versus bad doesn't mean you're going to agree with that. But at least we are consistent, and we just try to not, just give you the 100% truth about something.
And that's why we kind of like the 3-man show.
Yeah.
Because two of us don't like something, it doesn't really
matter. Yeah,
but then the third person, we can gang up on the Anthony, and tell him what's up.
I like the way you picked me.
Yeah. 3 is definitely better than 2, man. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, it's and the one thing I want to say is we almost never brag on ourselves, and we continue probably, not to do that. It was funny when Kenny, when you first came on, I told you we had listeners that would send us messages and say, I'm not sure if I like Kenny because he does all this crazy stuff when he's on. He's talking about this shenanigans, this whiskey, that whiskey. It was from multiple people. And now those same people are like, no, I get it now. I get it. It's part of that evolution. But part of that evolution is when we first started this podcast, I may have said this before, but I think the first month that we were doing this, did we have about 40 total listens?
I would say maybe it was under 100, 150.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 150 listens.
Maybe.
And now we've had month periods where we've had between 3,000 and 4,000 listens or more?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's a testament not only to, the time and effort that we've put into this and what we want to bring you guys every week, but also I think that I just wanted to say a big thank you to our listening audience because we really appreciate that. And keep telling your friends about us. Keep sharing us with the people in your community, people you love. Because
keep chatting with us.
Exactly. Keep chatting with us. Keep bringing us the feedback because we absolutely love it. And we love interacting with y'all. And thanks for continuing to support us.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, boys, speaking of support, we have another shout out this week from Facebook.
Absolutely. This was a really fun one. I remember messaging you guys. It was a couple weeks ago. And I was actually minding my own business doing some holiday shopping. And just like we talked about a second ago, I get a message on Facebook on the podcast page. I'd like to give a special shout out to one of our listeners named Sundown Siramarco. And yes, that is his real name. So 2 weeks ago when I was doing the shopping, his wife contacted us and said, please give a shout out to my husband, Sundown. He's a big fan of your podcast. We listen to you guys every time we're on the road with our RV. Thank you. I mean, near as I could tell, they're from out west, maybe the Phoenix area. I mean, I was Googling you guys trying to figure out where you're at just because I want to know where our podcast listeners are. And it just was amazing. I was like, the fact that we're part of your road trips, I was like, that's awesome. And then also your husband's name is awesome.
Shout out Sundown.
Yeah, you got to shout out Sundown. Did you know what I thought about when I heard that name? Here's what I was thinking of. Y'all ever heard of that Gordon Lightfoot song? You know, I've mentioned Gordon Lightfoot on the podcast before. People are probably like, what's this guy listens to Gordon Lightfoot? I do. I like Canadian folk songwriters. You ever listen to Gordon Lightfoot?
I cannot say I've ever heard of a Canadian folk songwriter. But that's okay.
Steven on a Crown commercial?
Not for you either. Here we go.
I got you.
Oh, I've heard that, yeah.
When I get feeling better, when I'm feeling no pain.
I guess I just did not know that was a name.
Actually, I think I've heard his name before with the song.
Yeah, you hear that? Sundown, you better take care. Anyway, no, we thought about you when we were got that review. So thank you for reaching out to us and keep them coming.
If you would like a shout out, just leave us a review on Apple Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify. You can mail Anthony a letter. It's fine.
I'm still waiting on that mailing.
Just include some powder in there.
Now you know what Kenny thinks of me. It's a takedown.
Arsenic.
So next time we record, we'll give you a shout out. So ladies, for this week, we are going to do a head-to-head. It's a little different.
Head-to-head.
Not really different because, Kenny blinds us all the time.
That's right.
So for this week, we have a bottle of Old Forester Rye versus Old Forester Barrel Strength Rye.
Oh, yeah. I stole his line. I got it before he said it.
All right. Well, that was unexpected, but of course we have Old Forester Rye and the Barrel Strength. These come to us from the Old Forester Distillery over there at Whiskey Row in Louisville. The bottle dates, as near as we can tell, the regular rye is from 2020, and the barrel strength, I think, is from 21 or 22. The ABV for the regular is 50. The proof is 100. The ABV for the barrel strength is 63.65. The proof is 127.3. The mash bill on both of these is 65% rye, 20% malted barley, and 15% corn. The MSRP for the 100 proof is $25, even though at Total Wine, I think they're charging $26. And the barrel strength is 85, and most places there are charging between 85 and 100, but I haven't seen it much lately. Have you guys seen the barrel strength rye in many places lately? I mean, it wasn't a lot to begin with, and then now it's almost like impossible.
Seems like it comes in waves, so I don't know if like Total Wine, Liquor Barn, Local Group, Kroger, blah, 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 all has a pick together, like it's all released soon, close together, because haven't seen them in a while now. Seems like there for a while, they were pretty flooded everywhere.
Absolutely. And I will say that when the the regular rye came out, so Stephen, do you know that the Old Forester Rye recipe is actually the first new recipe that they released, any of the product lines, in like 150 years or something like that, right? Which is
really?
Which is crazy because they just had always done bourbon. They'd never done a rye. They had a recipe for a rye apparently back from the 1940s, but they just never done it before. And so when this came out, I bought a whole entire case of it just because I kept hearing so many good things about it that I was like, I want to have a case, and I didn't know if it was going to be limited, if it's going to be a regular offering. I probably didn't need to buy a case, but I did.
So how did you not have it tonight when we needed
it? Yeah. Well, I drank. I may have drank that case already. No, I didn't drink all of it. I did take care of some friends and stuff because what happened was when this first came out, then it like went away. It's like it sold out, it sold through, and a lot of people were giving it high praise, and then it didn't. It was a little bit laggy, but it came out like 3 months later, and then it was everywhere, and it's been everywhere since. So. Before I get too far off on a tangent, what do we think of these bottles?
Well, they look pretty standard. the standard non-barrel strength looks like any other Old Foresters.
Yeah, it does.
And the barrel strength looks like the
other
single
Old
barrel
Foresters.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing special.
I was going to say, all they really do is do what the classic everyone
Green
does
label.
with rye, the green, right?
The green label.
Yeah. But the one thing I will say about Forester is all their labels are very classic looking. The barrel strength ones, while we're talking about it, you mentioned about people doing picks. There was a time where I found one of these that wasn't a pick that Kroger or Liquor Barnaby did. It was just on the shelf as like a distributor pick, I think. They had a couple of those out there as well that weren't selected by anybody, that were just barrel strength rye without anybody's name on them.
I'm trying to think, man. I think the only barrel strength ryes I've seen have just been like, I haven't seen a pick.
So they're not selected by anybody. They're
Not
just
that I've
selected
seen.
by the
Like,
distillery.
Like I'll get them at Total Wine and Liquor Barn and other places.
But they don't say that.
I've only ever seen like it'll just say the K7, G3, blah
Okay.
blah blah.
Well, maybe I'm mistaken.
Whereas
then.
the
Barrels?
bourbons,
Yeah.
it'll have a name to it, like it was picked by them.
Right.
But I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen an actual raw true pick.
And do we have any guesstimates of how old this is? Because they don't have any age statement. I don't think I said that when I went through the specs. There's no age statement.
Yeah.
But
And with them, 5 to 7, 6 to 8 years, right? That's what most of their stuff is.
I would hope. But I was wondering, maybe I've heard that the barrel straight bourbon is as young as 4 years, but the way that they back up the fact that
You know what? No, you're right.
yeah, it's young as 4, but
So this is probably about the same.
they do heat cycling, right?
Right.
We've talked about heat cycling,
which is more
before.
equivalent to that 5 to 7 or
Yeah,
something.
so maybe that's where you get
Probably
'cause
is.
The
It's
colors,
dark always.
yeah, colors are dark.
That's the only thing. Just if they were proud of the age, they'd state it. But secrets, I don't like secrets, man.
So the one thing I will say about these before we start nosing them is regular rye. So only being out since 2019, it's been on the best budget rye lists for a lot of different people. Surprisingly, I don't know if it's because a lot of the big websites just kind of like were comfortable with the ryes that were budget, but a lot of our contemporaries, if you will, right? A lot of the podcast community, a lot of the YouTube community, if they have the best of 10 ryes or 5 ryes that are affordable, you're always going to see the Old Forester Rye on there.
I've heard from the ryes, a lot of people, number one, they just taste great for the money on this rye. And then also people do use them in cocktails a lot from what I've been hearing.
There you go. Well, could be a double threat.
But what's crazy is I've owned this bottle since late in 2019, early 2020, but I've never had it.
Are you serious?
Never.
Here I am buying a case of it.
Never had it.
You're making the
drinking
man
it.
open an old bottle.
I had to
Yeah,
fresh
and then the
crack
man
my
had to-
bottle.
fresh crack his bottle. That's a liter too.
That was my vertical, man.
That's a liter. That's not a 750,
Is that a liter?
right? Isn't it?
Nope.
It's not.
Nope.
Well, this would be a good time to say that it's available in a liter and 750 because I remember seeing it in both sizes and going, man, did I get ripped off because I bought 750s, a case of 750s when the liters are coming out.
Do they also sell this in the duty-free 5-liter?
I don't know. Does Crown Royal have a duty-free 5 liter? I bet they do.
I saw them. I got some marketing stuff from them a while back about, I guess, maybe some mint juleps made with this. Maybe, that was their own website, I guess. But
the mint julep for Derby is Woodford, right? Or did it change this last year?
I don't know.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it's Woodford.
Okay.
Yeah. They're always the key sponsor. We got to go to the Derby. Well, I did. You didn't, Steven.
That's true.
But I got to go there with Michael and your wife and his wife and my wife and a whole bunch of people. And there's a lot of Woodford going in there.
And no Steven.
Yeah, no Steven because you were traveling during that time.
Well, should we go for our first note?
Yes, please.
Sounds good.
Yes, please.
What did you say? I said Kitty's getting irritated over there.
I've never had it, Never had it.
I'm finding this very delightful to nose.
Yeah.
I'm still getting some of just the caramelly brown sugar like I do on bourbon
Yep.
off the nose. I don't know.
I mean, 65%'s pretty good rye, but like we've talked about in previous episodes, it's not 95.5. So you're going to hopefully get some more bourbon notes. For me, the two things that stick out are floral.
Yeah.
And then
It smells a little peppery, doesn't it?
a little pepper smell. I get a little citrus too.
I just got that.
Yeah, it's got citrus and floral and pepper. And it's funny, I'm not going to go on my tirade about how I taste ryes because everyone's sick of hearing that.
Upside down in the dark.
This one kind of goes meandering back and forth for me, right? It leans more on the bourbon side, a little bit of the sugars, like Kenny said, and the sweetness, and less on the herby side, but not quite fruity. It's kind of like in the middle.
You get some earthiness?
Yeah, it's earth. I mean, when I say, for me, floral and earthy are like similar to me.
Okay.
But yeah, a little bit of earthiness, a little bit of.
A little bit more of the earthy, like dirt on the barrel proof one.
Oh, really? Actually, I was just going for the 100 proof. Now I'm going to nose the barrel proof.
I thought you were nosing both. Okay. I got a little more earthy dirt, earthiness on the barrel proof one.
Yeah, and the barrel proof's got something additional to it that I haven't quite picked out yet.
I smell a lot of oak and or like musk.
It's musty. It's musty.
Yeah.
That's a earthy, musty nose to it.
Kind of like a sassafras.
Come on.
Wait, was that on the 215 wheel O?
So
Woodford?
It's funny you should say that. I think that Kenny peeked at something that I wanted to mention as we're nosing here. So the rye was released back when Miss Jackie Zykan was still with Old Forester. And
shout out to Bare Feet.
yeah. Well, you know what's funny you said that? Because I subscribed to the magazine Bourbon Plus. I don't anymore. But one of my favorite ones that came out that I had read was the episode that had the magazine that had Jackie Zykan on it, and she was wearing a black pantsuit and no shoes, and so that's where the feet reference comes from. But I think it's okay for me to say it on a podcast. It's an attractive person, yeah, And she was with Old Forester for a long time, and now is with a company called Hidden Barn. But we actually have her tasting notes on the rye here.
No, the aroma.
The aroma. So we got to go in order here. We have tasting notes, and we also have the aroma. So do you want to know what Jackie Zykan's aromas are here? Do you have them, sir?
I have them.
All right.
We have rich brown sugar.
Okay.
Magnolia blossom.
Ooh. I didn't quite get magnolia blossom.
I didn't either.
Floral.
Right. Hints of soft sassafras.
Oh, did you read that?
I got hard sassafras.
It's like a holiday candy.
Holiday candy.
Right, like a hard candy.
What does sassafras even taste
speaking
like?
of candy, it's candied lemons rounding out.
Okay. Well, there's a citrus.
There's your citrus.
There's citrus. Yeah. So I guess we could get descriptors, but not the same kind that maybe Jackie could put out there.
Well, no. I said brown sugar.
Yep.
You said floral, they got a blossom.
That's true.
You said lemon, they got citrus.
Yep.
We're right there, guys.
Yeah.
And you said sassafras, and we have soft
I
sassafras.
cheated on that one.
You cheated on that one. Yeah. I was going to say you had to look ahead on that one.
But that was pretty close on, though.
No, that's good. Do you guys think that is it Melissa Rift who's now with Old Forester? Is that correct?
I feel like I'm getting like really men's cologne out of this barrel strength.
Oh, the barrel strength?
Yeah.
Men's cologne. What kind of men's cologne?
Just that musky, like...
So I was correct that it's Melissa Rift. And so there's Old Forester, because I haven't been drinking that long. That was the Old Forester that I knew, which was the Jackie Zykan Old Forester, the Master Taster. And now it's Melissa Rift. And I just wondered if either of you, before we go to taste here, have any opinions on whether you think Old Forester's consistency has been any different since Jackie has left. If there's any thoughts, because I know everyone always is a critic of birthday bourbon every year, right? You either love it or hate it. It's worth the money. It's not worth the money. It's worth the wait. But I also think that some of their core products have changed as well. I think that some of the series, the 1910, 1920, there's been slight changes in. I wouldn't necessarily say that's Melissa Rift's fault. It's probably maybe just the barrel lots they're working with and how they're blending stuff. It's going to change. You know what I mean?
It's definitely changed. And not in a good way for me.
Okay.
Because me, my starter
1910.
is 1910.
Yeah.
I've drinking more 1910. It might have changed right even before Jackie left, though. So I don't want to say it's Jackie versus Melissa.
Yep.
But it definitely coincides with old label 1910 versus new label.
Right.
Because I thought I was crazy when I cracked the new one. I'm like, this doesn't taste right. Mm-hmm. And so I did find 2 bottles of the old label in my little bunker. So
naturally,
and I blinded them. I really did. And I picked the old label out instantly. So I don't know if that's a tribute to Jackie, or if it was changed just before she left or what. But it's definitely changed some, I think. At least for 1910, that's my main one I'm familiar with.
Nice. Well, I guess we'll have to find out if we taste enough of the old and the new to find out maybe there's some big changes going or not. But I mean, definitely birthday bourbons will be affected by that, because I think the master taster gets to select all the barrels and do the blending on that.
I think so.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about birthday bourbon. I mean, like I said, I was new to bourbon, heard how great it was, saw the secondary prices, grabbed up 2 of them, and luckily I got samples of them before I opened them.
Right.
And it's one of those things like,
what year were those?
I got 2019 and 2020 birthday bourbons. And then I even had I think a 21, but it's one of those things where, you know, if you just look at the $150 retail, it's not bad for $150.
Right.
But me just being who I mean, I know they're $650, $750 secondary, so I look at it as a $650 bottle.
Right.
And to me, it's just not even remotely worth that. I think like a 1920
I got you.
is usually better than those. A 1910, 1920. I think if you were to blind Old Forester birthday bourbon against 1910, 1920, I think a lot of people would pick 1910 or 1920 over Old Forester birthday bourbon.
Okay.
I think we reviewed the 19.
Did we review 19 or 18? That's what I was just about to ask you. 19. And I remember enjoying that. I think that I was a buy on that. And
we were all buys.
All buys. And so we had that, but I will say this. You had samples of the 19, right? Presumably from an open bottle, I would say. My bottle, I feel, got better with time, which is interesting. So I think when we sampled it, would have been maybe our first 30 episodes, maybe. I think it was somewhere 40s. In there. Was it low 40s, low 40s? And that means that bottle had already been open for over a year at that time.
Gotcha.
And so the breathing, the air, the everything, we all really enjoyed the profile of that. But I have heard...
I think 19 was older than 20 as well.
I think it was, yeah. Yeah, so interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
It's not right. It's not wrong. It's just different. I always look at secondary value on any of the bottles I open. I just can't help it.
Yeah, I could be right. You may be crazy.
So I'll have to go back and listen to that episode y'all did on that.
There you go.
To see if y'all said anything about secondary or not.
Yeah.
Because at retail, it's a friggin' buy all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if we had said anything about secondary or not. I can't remember.
I'll have to go back and look.
Yeah. We weren't enthusiast marketing as much then, I don't think. Yeah.
We ranted a lot about it.
I ranted a lot about it. I was like, I hate the enthusiast markets. No, I didn't say it like that, but that was fun.
I think you mentioned Kenny's name a couple of times back then.
Yeah, I think I did. You have to really go back and listen now. Like, there's this guy. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was doing the bourbon then. I wasn't on the scene yet.
Everything.
I didn't say that.
I wasn't on the scene yet.
Yeah.
Well, boys, should we go for a first taste?
Sounds good.
Yes, please.
Holy Pepper Backbone.
Which one did you do?
Just 100 proof, yeah. It's been a while since I've had this.
This is the first time I've had it.
Uh-huh.
It is delicious.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you like?
Easy to drink.
Yeah.
I love the floral notes I'm getting from it.
Yeah, it's definitely florally.
For a rye, I don't know how much for the spice I'm getting.
The spice for me is all peppery.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it, though, I'm getting.
Yeah, no, it's not an abrasive pepper.
No.
It's, there's abrasive pepper. I'm not a big pepper guy, but this is actually a really nice peppery spice.
It's a really nice drink.
Yeah.
It's good.
Kenny's pensive.
Well, I'm letting it travel and do its thing, close my eyes, just seeing where it takes me. The front and the middle I like a lot. The end just falls flat, but it's also $26.
Yeah.
But man, they did very good, I think.
Yeah.
That's really good.
For something that wasn't even in their product line until 2019, I gotta imagine Chris Morris probably had a hand in developing this. And
I didn't know the history, so like dead serious, they didn't have rye at all?
No, I don't think they had any rye. I think that the 1940 was when I think it was Owsley.
Wow.
What's that, Brown? He had bought a historic recipe called Normandy rye. So I guess if you're looking at Dusty's, there might be some Normandy rye out there. And that's sort of the impetus for them recreating this and starting to put rye out there on the market. And then, because it's brown format, it makes you wonder also, because we, once upon a time, since we're reflecting on the 3 years here, we had a night that's an epic episode. You have to listen to it if you haven't heard it before. Was when we did Woodford Rye. And we started off that night with no expectations. And we started drinking that Woodford Rye, and we put down half the bottle. I think we just kept. Didn't we put down about half the bottle?
I think we did.
Woodford Rye.
I think we almost finished it.
Oh man, it was so delightfully surprising that we all were talking about how much we liked it. And since Woodford and is part of the Brown Forman umbrella, you got to wonder how much they borrowed or how much the Woodford Rye borrows from or shares anything with this. So I don't know.
This is good.
I have a bottle of this at home.
Yeah,
and I had a drink out of it quite a while ago, so I couldn't tell you if this has tasted that much different. I don't think it does, But then again, I don't have it here for a side-by-side, and we know this is one of the very early bottles because Kenny had it collecting dust on his shelf. And it's a fresh crack, so it probably will evolve a little bit.
Now, I've got, I guess, 2 questions right off the bat after tasting this.
Right.
So this is a little bit higher barley content than we kind of used to drinking. Normally we're like, what, in the 5 to 10% range, and here's 20.
Right.
But it's not so much up in the malt range, right?
Nope.
So how do we feel about the 20%er?
I mean, in general, that's for the last year. That's my biggest explosion in what I've been buying is malted barley products or barley products, whether it's high malt or whether it's all malt like the Irish whiskeys.
Yeah.
So I think that definitely helps make a $26 bottle taste like really good.
Right.
Malted barley, I think, is the most expensive grain.
Yeah.
So that's the more that's why a lot of people don't use a lot of it, but I think it has to help here.
Yeah, I think it creates that the citrusy depth. I'd love to know what emanates from. I'd love to use that emanates. What emanates from?
Strong
there?
word.
But I'd love to know what flavors come from that malted barley because to me that's where I think some of the citrusy notes that transfer over to the palate I'm getting. I don't necessarily know if I call them citrus or if I call them just fruit notes.
Yeah,
and they're there.
Redbreast.
Redbreast, exactly. The
That's
fruit.
all malted barley.
That's not a big part of this palate, but it's a small glimpse in the middle where you get a little bit of the fruit flavors. I'm not quite sure what fruit it is, but there's some fruit in the middle of the palate before it becomes spicy and rye. That's good. It's tasty.
So the other question is, we both kind of said it was a nice drink, right? They got a lot of floral in the beginning,
right?
Just a real joy to drink,
right?
How do you think this would hold up in mixing? Do you think it'll kind of would it be able to stand up in it because it's kind of it feels like it's low key?
Well, it does, but we keep talking about that old fashioned episode that we're eventually going to do at some point in time, and I actually think this should be an entry to that. I think this would make great old fashioned.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got that a little bit of that caramelly brown sugar like a bourbon does, just a little bit, but maybe that higher malted barley content might. I don't know. I mean, I don't drink a lot of cocktails, so I'm probably not the best one to answer that. Yeah. But I know I've seen a lot of places use Old Forester for, but I don't know if they're rye or bourbon they're using for some cocktails.
Right. Well, should we move on to the barrel strength?
Yeah. I actually just started to. I wonder if it's just going to be like an intensity of the flavors or if there's going to be that much difference because this is a single barrel. Got to remember that's a single barrel versus a batch product.
And they do say that Old Forester, they say as far as distilling, it is produced under the supervision of Chris Morris.
Okay.
So I don't think they even have their own master distiller. It's just that taster down there.
So I'm going to say something that's crazy here. I think the barrel strength is amplifying the sugars. Like I'm getting more sweetness up front, but I'm getting less flavor overall. I feel like the flavor is washing away, which is opposite of what barrel strength usually does. But that's just me.
Is this Kenny's hot to be hot drink?
I don't know if I'd necessarily say that right now, but I want to see what he says. He's kind of got that he's really getting into it tonight. You're trying to bring it. He's got, I wish you guys could see this. He almost has like a,
I think we lost him to the stars.
Yeah, he's
like
looking
away.
Up. He's kind of like scanning through his mental Rolodex. He's really working it.
I think that's when people see the light and everything kind of like.
Well, I barely touched on it earlier. My palate has been
open.
Semi off for like the last 3.5, 4 months. I've had a lot of tongue burning, tingling, so everything tasted hotter.
There goes all those episodes. I'm just kidding.
No. So I mean, I just wasn't as on, and tonight is the first night in like 3.5 months, and then I feel like I'm back to quote unquote normal. So I'm just really
welcome back.
I'm really just absorbing it right now. Man, you might be onto something here, Anthony.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I just don't feel like I'm tasting as much of the flavor that I liked in the 100 proof.
No.
But I still like it. I don't think it's bad by any means. I don't know.
After tasting that floral light note, it kind of doesn't.
It's running together a little bit.
Yeah.
And not like, again, not in a bad way, because I very much appreciate both products that are in front of me. It's just,
dude, if I pick the 100 proof $26 one over the
the one that regularly.
But I understand what you're saying, though. No, it is. You can tell it's got more oomph to it.
Definitely.
You can feel it in your chest more, feel it drawing up. But it's like the flavor
is not there.
Is either not there at all or not there or not anymore, one of the two.
Right.
It might even be less flavor.
I think it's accentuated. What happens is the alcohol starts to dominate, in my opinion, starts to dominate the flavor profile, which accentuates the florals a little bit, but not in a good way. Almost in a way that makes it taste a little bit bitter. Yeah, but that again could be single barrel, and it could be. Is this a low tier or it could be?
This is a tier 3.
Tier 3. Don't they have like 13 floors?
Do you have a clean glass?
I do. I have one in the middle here.
Well, let's do this. Not to throw audible and curveball. This
Hey, it wouldn't be an episode without you throwing an audible.
So this one is the Warehouse G Floor 3.
Okay.
I split this bottle in half with, I believe, Steve Lewis.
Okay.
Firefighter Steve.
I don't know.
Makes some of the best beer cheese around
Okay.
here in Lexington. Steve Lewis, my man.
All right.
And I think I split this bottle in half with him. And so this has been open for probably a year and a half at least. I do have a bottle of Old Forester Rye that I just opened up maybe in the last 6 months. So let's hit this one and see if you get more of that flavor.
Okay.
It's possibly that one just being open for that long and with that much air, and it potentially could have knocked it out.
Gotcha.
So here is a 131.9 proof Warehouse K Floor 7.
Oh, higher,
If you look,
higher floor.
And Ks are kind of known, or people kind of seek out a K per se. But because I have to agree with you, that first one we just did, definitely more alcohol, but I don't know if
Coming back.
if it probably less flavor. It's weird. Like you said, man, you kind of hit it on the head there.
Really?
So let's see if you get more of the flavor notes out of this, maybe.
Did you feel the same way, Steven, that the barrel strength is drinking hotter?
Yeah. I kind of was saying words on top of Kenny because I wanted to make sure I was matching him as I said them.
Yeah, I love it. No,
I'm
it's
getting
all
more
good.
flavor, though,
Yeah,
out of the 100 proof than that original barrel proof.
which is crazy. It's
That's-
crazy.
that's
Usually-
wild.
It does not happen
No,
usually. Yeah.
no.
Well, here we go, down with K.
All right.
All right. That's a little bit softer and a little bit more flavorful.
Okay, it is softer.
Yeah.
It's not as like
Yep.
in your face.
Yep. And one thing I will say is this tastes less like the others. So this seems more unique, like it's actually more of a meaningful single barrel.
This is richer.
Rich, very rich.
You
Very
stole
rich.
my word.
There it is.
Sorry.
On the back end of it, I get a nice richness flavor out of it.
It's rich, and it just makes my tongue, in a good way, just
Yeah.
kind of like tingle, draw in together.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You guys hit that one.
Okay.
Out of the park. So the contrast on the K7 is like brown sugar sweetness up front and lemon zest in the back.
Are you going between the 100 now, the 100 proof, and the extra blonde?
Yeah, I think so. It's crazy though. This is another thing that's great about this is even though we're not proofing things down on our own, you can proof things down with drops of water, ice cubes, do that kind of stuff all the time. I used to do it way more than I do now, where I would try different things in different ways, especially certain barrel strengths, just add in drops of water to see how much they change and stuff like that. This is a good experiment.
Going off that, so this is obviously a fresh crack rye, 100 proof.
Yes.
How long is this third bottle?
6 to 8 months max.
Okay, so it's been open for a while.
But 6 months max. But that first one we did opened probably at least a year and a half.
Okay.
Might even been.
So these,
might be
so
close
these
to
have had
2
their
years.
chance to breathe.
Both of the barrel strengths have, but the one evidently breathed too much. It's pretty flat.
It done breath.
And I would not say that it was like that fresh crack. So their rye might be one of those things. So like we've had, we talked before about how bottles can change.
Right.
Scientifically, if you look at it, nothing changes, right? It's not supposed to much, but it truly does change.
If I had a lab coat on, you would believe me.
Yeah.
My lab coat.
But like, for example, Elijah Craig 18,
Yep.
if you don't drink it within literally a couple days or a week, it's very flat.
You know what you've been
Very
saying?
flat.
You've been saying that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a good time to open Elijah Craig 18 just for us
Yeah.
when we're hanging out because I have 4 maybe,
Yeah.
and I want to do that experiment. I want to keep it for
Yeah.
3 years and see if it gets incredibly flat.
No, it'll get flat within a week or two. So this Old Forester Rye went pretty flat on the barrel proof one.
Really?
Well, I mean, granted, year and a half, but still, it's pretty flat.
Okay. So maybe that's the other thing.
But this
We can't-
K7's a lot more flavor.
Do you know? I'm gonna throw you a little thing here. You know what the K7 tastes like to me?
I will say, man,
I'm tasting more of the malted barley in this. and it's tasting like your old Louisville pick a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. The fruit notes are working there.
What is this rye? 65%?
65%.
Man, if you blinded me with this, I'd have a hard time probably saying it's a rye, to be honest with you.
This one especially.
And usually that's only like the 51%, 56%, but 65% you would think you would like, oh, boom, instant, boom, that's a rye.
Right, yeah.
But I would have probably a hard time picking out it's a rye maybe.
Right.
Maybe it's because I drink too much 95.5 and that's always what I'm looking for.
I will say this. Right now, I'm appreciating the hell out of these ryes. Like, they're... Even the one that I said, the 127, I said the flavors were going together. It's still good. It's not bad.
Gosh dang it, man!
I think Kenny for the first time in the history of life might pick 100 proof over barrel strength, which is not like him.
Well,
dang it.
Should we just go right for it then?
I think we're ready. I think we had enough time with this whiskey.
So, fellas, would you pass, try, or buy on the Old Forester Rye and on the Old Forester Barrel Strength Rye?
I would defer to Anthony.
Oh, goodness. I'm going to lead us off now.
I'm going back in for one more drink each.
All right. Well, here's the thing. The 100 proof to me is easy. It's a $25 bottle. It's excellent, in my opinion, for what it is. And when I say for what it is, I have purchased this multiple times since 2019, including the case I originally bought. And I have a bottle at home right now that I probably haven't drank in a couple of months. It's sitting in the back of the cabinet.
You're going to pull it forward.
What's that?
You're going to pull it forward, aren't you?
Yeah. I will pull it forward because I think that's a testament. There's been times on this podcast I've told you guys, oh, I had a Sazerac Rye, but I haven't bought it in a while. I have this, and I haven't bought it in a while. I have consistently bought Old Forester Rye since 2019, and I like it. So that's a no-brainer for me. When you get to the barrel strength, I think it's a tale of two things, which I can't really tell you. If you can get it at retail cost, which is $85 to $90, I think it's a buy. I remember when the ryes were going for 200 and what? 230? I'm looking at Kenny now because he would know. The rye barrel strength ryes were going for 230 to 250 when they first hit. No way. Not 230 to 250. In the 100 to 140 range, 150 range, I still think it's unique. I'd rather have the K7 than the other one we drank for that much money. But if I had the K7 at 140, I'd be happy with it. So I'm going to go with a try on the... I'm going to go stay solid try because there might be a lot of variation between those single barrels, and I really like the 100 proof a lot. So I'm going to go try with the barrel strength.
I guess I'll go next. I'm pretty much going to ditto everything you said.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the 100 proof rye. I'm going to go buy a bottle.
Yay.
I'm going to keep it on my shelf.
Hooray.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
I think for the, like you said, on the single barrel, depends on the barrel. So your mileage may vary, right?
Right.
But on the K7, I liked it a lot. Again, I would be a try on it. I don't even know if it's worth the 150 that you said.
Really?
I think I would buy, if it's not MSRP. I get more flavors out of it than the other barrel strength.
Right.
But I don't think enough to justify going up to 150.
Okay.
So
I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait to hear what Kenny has to say because that's the thing.
He's going to have to eat his words.
Once you go and eat the words, right? Yeah. I mean, if he picks 100 proof over the barrel strength, that could be the first time in history. Like the listening audience,
they're going to ban him from groups.
Ban hammer.
All right. So, yeah, the 100 proof.
The bald has spoken. I mean, the beard. I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The back hair. The back hair is spoken.
The back hair.
Get me off here.
Like Anthony said, the $26 one, I mean, it's $26.
Right.
There's definitely $26 bottles I would still not pass or still not buy. This is definitely a buy for me on the 100 proofer. I mean, it's actually truly flavorful at 100 proof and at that pricing point both. The finish on the 100 proofer is a little flat on the end, but it's $26.
Right.
Yeah, right.
But the front and the middle are freaking great.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah, pleasurable.
And you pick up it's a up and down, left and right, good flavors. So 6-8 months ago when I opened this K7, that's when I also did try this G3.
Right.
And back then I picked the G3 over that.
Wow.
But if you look at there, it's been sitting with that much air in it for now.
Right.
It's just gone flat.
Right.
So the K7 definitely to me had more flavor than that. But I'm going to kind of copy off Steven on this a little bit. Maybe even I'm a pass, man. On both the barrel proof ones.
Wow.
A part of that is these are what, 85, 90 at retail?
Yep.
Yeah.
What did we review about a month ago that was just phenomenal off the charts rye?
Oh, the old Ezra.
The old Ezra, which was what, $99?
Yeah, 99, but I mean, some markets still 70, 75.
The reason I'm a pass on these is because old Ezra is in the same ballpark.
Okay.
So if old Ezra was not in the same ballpark, I would at least be a try on these. But I'm about to officially go pass because old Ezra crushes it and it's in the same ballpark.
Wow. Sorry, that's crazy.
I did not think we go in with an open mind. And
Right.
I did not think it would happen like this, but it is what it is.
So my next question for you guys is,
Okay.
out of the two, which do you prefer?
Gosh, don't make me say this.
Anthony?
Don't make me say this on tape.
Man, yeah, this is crazy.
Tape. Listen to him, how
Yeah,
old.
no. Hey. I do the same
This
thing.
is a rewritable CD.
This is
Get
great.
out of here.
No, I honestly think that if pound for pound, we got to be true to who we are. I think I'm just going to buy the regular. I prefer it because the costs and the flavors are good. And even though the K7 really makes me wonder, because I really like the mouthfeel of it, I like the fruit flavors. And I don't wonder what else is out there because I don't know how many different single barrels are out there. There's probably a lot. It makes me wonder, but for what's in front of us tonight, yeah, easy for me. The 100 proof. I'm going to say it over it. Yeah.
100 all the way.
Yep.
100 all the way.
I figured you probably were
Yeah.
too.
I enjoyed it a lot more than the other one.
Yep.
I love that.
enjoyed-
Flavors up front.
I enjoyed the flavors more than the 100 proof, man.
That's what it comes down to is the
I
flavors.
truly did.
Yeah.
I mean, I truly did.
And what's crazy is we are not usually talking about alcohol. When I say alcohol, I'm talking about the fact that it's higher proof, the ethanol coming in and maybe mixing up the flavors. And I feel like it kind of did.
Well, I didn't get like a big ethanol pop on it.
Right.
It was just hotter, but
Yep.
it lost.
Yeah.
It truly lost the flavors, though. Like
mean,
it lost
the-
the flavors.
The only thing that saved the K7 was that feel.
That little rich-
Yeah, that
the
richness
richness.
we had on the back
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was still hot. And
So
the
what I'll
flavors-
do though, I will nerd out with my spreadsheet
Here we
that
go.
I've got and my my little gram scale weigher and my limestone water. I'll go ahead and take one of the K7s.
Yep.
Not tonight, but I'll take the K7 and proof it down to 100.
Oh,
And then we'll go ahead and try that K7 at 100 proof compared to this one at 100 proof, and just to
Nice.
see what they're like. But I cannot believe I'm saying this, but yeah, I'm 100%. I'd go 100 proof over the barrel proofs, man.
nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crews, posses around the world, Kenny Mills
I hate to say it.
has just picked 100 proof over barrel strength whiskey.
Is that a $20 bill you just paid for this?
Ooh.
This is, I mean, I did not
did
think
you
I
have to
would.
bin this?
I did not think I would say that, man.
He just been the case, ladies and gentlemen. Been the case of
to
Old
go-
Forester Rye.
They just, I mean, I just can't, especially considering that old Ezra rye
Yeah.
that we just did.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And with that, thanks for listening to this week's edition. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY.
Don't forget to visit our partner, bourbonoutfitter.com. Enter code The Mashup for a special discount.
Also, let us know your thoughts on this bottle in the comment section. Until next time, keep it neat.